Hello everyone, this is Lilian. We meet again for the third episode on the lore of Tower of God, where we will talk about the 10 great families. As for the previous video, you have to be up to date, that is to say to the chap 485 actually, if you don't want to be spoiled. The 10 great families were formed by the 10 companions of Jihad, who had allied themselves with him during the war against V and Arlen Grace. Today their influence is enormous. They are really seen as the ruling social class of the tower, like nobles in fact. The governors of each floor come from the 10 great families, except for the second floor, which used to be ruled by Evankel, but today it would normally be someone from the 10 great families, and the 77th floor, which is ruled by Baek Ryun, the leader of the Wolheksong. Moreover, their members are often extremely powerful. They inherit the power of their ancestors. Note that most of the princesses of Jihad, which we will talk about in the next video, come from the 10 great families, and that having a princess of Jihad in one's family is a major political asset. It brings a kind of prestige to the family. Most of the children of the 10 great families live in floating castles until they are chosen by Hedon to climb the tower. Those who do not become regulars move to the central area or remain in their floating castle, but are discriminated by those who have become regulars or rankers. They are usually much more powerful than the normal regulars, and those who are direct descendants of the family heads are often even more powerful, although there are bound to be exceptions. So even though being part of the 10 great families makes them privileged, they have been immersed in an extremely fierce competitive climate since their childhood. Moreover, if they are men, their life expectancy is lower because women can become princesses of Jihad and are therefore more valuable. It should also be noted that a head of a family has only one official wife, and that when he has others, they are considered branches of the main family. Some of these branches even end up separating from the main family completely, abandoning their name like the Fonsecal branch. But each great family is different. They don't have the same rules, customs or mindset. That's why I'm going to tell you about them one by one. Even if some of them remain very mysterious and that we don't know much about the 10 great families in general for the moment. The Arie family is headed by Arie Han, not to be confused with Arie Han. Not much is known about this family except that they hate war and will do anything to prevent it. This family has links with the Arie family, since according to the non-canon lore, Arie Han and Arie Han are cousins. Unlike the Arie family does not use swords but rather needles. Each member of this family has his own needle adapted to his personality. The only known members are Arie Han, Arie Bright Sharon, the commander of the 1st Division of the 4th Corps of the Jihad Army, and Juchun, a high ranker and one of the 3 lords of the Jihad Empire. The Arie family is headed by Arie Han. They are the most famous family in the tower due to Arie Han being the most powerful of the 10 heads of the great families. They are extremely proud, and according to the non-canon lore, they rule floors 78, 79, 91 to 93 and 95 to 100. They used to control floor 77 but gave it to Baek Ryun, Urek's best friend and the leader of Wolheksong. They are well known for their unique techniques of using swords in areas of dense Shinsu. The swords used by the Arie have no blind spots, and there are no effective techniques to counter their techniques. The only way to defeat them is to master them with extreme strength, to attack them before they get close, or to simply be better than them at it. According to non-canon lore, there is a special sword technique that is only passed down from generation to generation within the main family, the only exception being Adori Jihad and the royal guards. To use an Arie fencing technique, you must be a descendant of the Arie. As skilled as a person can be, if they do not have Arie blood, they cannot use Arie fencing skill. Well, they can learn the techniques, but they can never use them as effectively as a true member of the Arie family would. They have a brotherly relationship with the Arie family members, but also have strong rivalries with the Khun family, as well as with the Ha family. So according to Arie Han, these are the only 2 families that can compare with his own. They are fighting with the Khun family for the control of floors 80 to 90. And even if they are rivals, the heads of those 2 families get along well. The Arie family is the strictest in terms of lineage. The chances of meeting direct descendants of the Arie family are very low. They are all recognizable by their white hair, and according to the non-canon lore, there are 2 separate branches of the main family, the Araran and the Ariran. The known members of the Arie family are Arie Han, Arie Hagiferioni Jihad, one of the most powerful princesses of Jihad, Arie Horn Jihad, the very first princess of Jihad, who disappeared, Arie Inita, who died in a fight with Ran at the name station, by the way his name is inspired by the soccer player Iniesta, Arie Rose Jihad, a princess of Jihad who is still regular, and finally Joaquin, Albelda, Ana, David and Vicente, who will form White, the slayer of the Fug. For the little anecdote, there was some obsolete non-canon lore that said that the very first princess of Jahad had cast a kind of curse that prevented the Arie family from producing a new princess of Jahad, which is false since the appearance of the new princess Arie Rose Jahad. The Eurasia family, led by Eurasia Blossom, is well known for its ability to manipulate the Shinsu and also for giving birth to one of the most powerful princesses of Jahad, Eurasia Ene Jahad. We also know one of its branches, the Fonsekal. It is also known that the entire Eurasia family is famous for being composed of big sleepers. The known members are Eurasia Blossom, the head of the family, Eurasia Ene Jahad, one of the most powerful princesses in history, whose parents, Eurasia Blossom and Po Bia Gustang, are both heads of the great family. She has been sealed since the incident that will be talked about in the video about the princesses of Jahad. And since then, the Po Bidau and Eurasia families have forbidden marriages between them and maintain a hostile relationship. There is also Miss Ice Strawberry, a member of the Volhaik song. We don't know her real name, but we know that she belongs to a branch of the Eurasia family. Then there are all the members of the Fonsekal branch, that is to say Fonsekal Drak, a top ranker. He is a company commander in the 2nd Division of the 4th Corps of the Jahad Army. He had a better division before, but it is implied that he was demoted because of his laziness and his habit of sleeping on the job. There are also the regulars Fonsekal Lor and Fonsekal Irura, as well as Irura's uncle Fonsekal Urura. The Ha family is headed by Ha Yurin. Its members are gifted with incredible physical strength and also possess, thanks to a contract with the administrators, the greatest capacity of body reinforcement in the tower. According to the non-canon lore, it is a matriarchal family where Ha Yurin is seen as a goddess. Even though she hardly participates in outside activities, she comes out more as a symbol than anything else, since she almost never rules the family itself. They have a bad relationship with the Khun family. In fact, I have the impression that nobody likes the Khun. Still, according to the non-canon lore, Ha Yurin had 2 children, twins, with Arihan, the head of the Arie family. But they didn't get married and she remained single. And although she had other relationships, since then she never gave birth to new children, the Ha family doesn't have too many branches, the main branch being centered around these 2 children. However, these twins do not have good relations, and each one claims to be the only legitimate heir of the family. This quarrel also affects the Arie family. It is also assumed that the Hayol family of Novik is a branch of the Ha family. Since the birth of Yuri, who became the princess of Jahad and who looks very much like Yurin, the Ha family has high hopes for her. They imagine that she will be able to gather the 13 months. They gave her the nickname Black Snakehead, in reference to the nickname Snakehead of Ha Yurin. The known members of this family are the chief Ha Yurin, the Fugue member Ha Jinsung, the commander of the 2nd Division of the 4th Corps of Jahad's army, Ha Cheonhee, the princess Ha Yuri Jahad, the ranker present at the auction of the name station, Ha Ruda, Hayol Novik, Rachel's friend Ha Yura, and her mother who died, and finally Ha Chai, the regular who refuses to become a ranker, and trained Bam after the arc of the last station. The Hendo Lok family is led by Hendo Lok blood matter. According to the non-canon lore, this is the great family that has the least influence in the tower, especially because it has the least ranker. This would be due to the pact that Blood Matter made with the administrator of the 100th floor, who, in exchange for eternal life, cursed his descendants, condemning them to a short life. Although this family is the least influential, its members still follow strict rules, and Blood Matter's position as head of the family is absolute. The rankers in this family are all adopted children, and it can be assumed that Endorsi is one of Blood Matter's adopted daughters. This family is reputed to have the best defense of the great families and to have a great resistance to Shinsu. The only known members are Hendo Lok Blood Matter, the head of the family, the princess of Jahad Hendo Lok Gladmary Jahad, and a random regular Bel Berhino, who had just a bit of Hendo Lok blood. The Khun family is headed by Khun Edan. Among the heads of the 10 great families, he is the one who has the most wives and the second most children. The head of the family with the most children is Hendo Lok Blood Matter. I forgot to mention that just before. Because of this, there were unofficial conflicts among the children of the family for power, and to counteract this, an official fighting system was created. These fights take place once a year according to the following rule. When the children reach the age of 10, they have to fight. The winners are recognized as real children and are allowed to wear the family coat of arms, and the losers are abandoned. Although the fighting is inhumane and bloody, Edan doesn't care. He says he is not very interested in it. There is also a lot of competition between Edan's wives as they seek to win their husband's favor over matters of power. The bits of dialogue in chapter 12 of season 1 suggest that the fact that Maria, who is not from the same branch as Aguero, became a princess, is enough to make her branch the most influential branch of the Khun family, and to make Agero's branch trampled on by the others, enough for Agero to be shunned from his family. Khun family members tend to be intelligent, but also very manipulative and cold. They also tend to be quite confident and proud. SIU itself said that Khun family members were generally assholes. Due to their descent, many members are inherently strong. They all seem to be trained in Shinsu and physical combat before entering the tower as regulars. They are known for their hair, and for the anecdote, the name Khun being inspired by the name of an Argentinian football player. This hair color is a reference to the Argentinian flag. Their techniques are named in Spanish for the same reason. We know many members of this family. There is of course the head of the family Khun Idan, the member of the Wolhaiksong Khun Hachuling, who deserted the Khun family. Khun Marco Asensio, whose data we saw on the hidden floor, and whose name is inspired by the football player of the same name. Khun Masheni Jahad, a very powerful princess of Jahad, in the top 100. Khun Royal Elliot, the governor of the 44th floor. Khun Hendo Lok, a former member of the Secret Garden. Khun Aguero Agnes, one of the main characters and whose name is inspired by a football player also Aguero. Khun Kiseya, Aguero's cousin. Khun Ran, whom we know well. Khun Icardi, whose data we saw in the hidden floor and whose name is inspired by the football player Moro Icardi. Khun Maria Jahad, a princess of Jahad still regular, as well as a last member who was not named but was powerful enough to stop the Hell Train. And finally, Po Bidau Liborik Khun, the new commander of the 4th Corps of the Jahad army, who replaces Calavan. The Po Bia family is led by the only head of the family whose name is not known yet. He is considered the best anima of the tower. We will talk about what is an anima in a video about the position. It is said that he can control all the Shinhu and animals of the tower, as well as humans. Besides the main family represented by the head of the family, the Po Bia family is separated into 20 branches, which are represented by the 20 animals controlled by the head of the family. Each of these branches has special powers. Among the 20 branches there is, for example, the Grey Wolf branch or the Wind Bird branch. According to non-canon lore, due to the nature of the head of the family, most Po Bia children are born with the abilities of an anima. Not all members of the Po Bia family are anima, but they all have the potential to become one, and a few elites have abilities that are completely above the level of a standard anima. One of these members, Po Bia Ren, helped this family to gain more influence in the tower by becoming a member of the Red, something I will talk about in another video. This family also produced twin princesses of Jahad, gaining even more political power, and currently, their members are sabotaging Endorsi's ascension to help the Po Bia family princesses to climb the ladder faster. It is known that the Po Bia family is one of the most loyal great families to Jahad, especially with the system they created at the Name Hunt Station to eliminate troublesome regulars, but also with the Nest Arc, where they are the only family that sent a decent number of troops according to Masheni. The known members are the head of the family whose name is not known, Po Bia Yasracha, the commander of the 5th Corps of Jahad's army, Po Bia Dokoko, the leader of the branch of the Windbirds, who was recently killed thanks to Khun, Po Bia Didiano, who is seen fighting in Jahad's army in the Nest, Po Bia Futile, the commander of the 2nd Division of the 5th Corps, Po Bia Hasacha, the commander of the 1st Division of the 5th Corps, Po Bia Haracha, the commander of the 3rd Division of the 5th Corps, Po Bia Lefav, who fights at the Nest in Jahad's army as a sniper and is also 278th in the ranker rankings, which will also be discussed in another video. Po Bia Port, who is a ranker present at the auction at Name Hunt Station. Po Bia Ren, a member of Red Unit 67. Po Bia Alfin, a regular who is currently running the Name Hunt Station in place of Po Bia Elaine, nicknamed Kaiser, a former candidate for Princess of Jahad. And finally the twins Po Bia Lilial Jahad and Po Bia Shilial Jahad, both princesses of Jahad and still regular. The Po Bidau family is headed by Po Bidau Gustang. According to the non-canon lore, its members are very good at manipulating Shinsu. Their leader Po Bidau Gustang, being an expert in manipulating Shinsu, is able to manipulate it with great precision. After the incident of the Hell Train in the hidden floor, one of the 3 orders of Jahad was the extermination of the Po Bidau family. This is currently the only great family clearly opposed to Jahad. Again, according to the non-canon lore, the men of the Po Bidau family are selected to work in a research group called the Research Association. If they do not make it into the group, they are dismissed from the family. As this is a very powerful and exclusive group, their members enjoy great fame and celebrity. The conditions to become a member of the association are unknown. It is not known if women from the Po Bidau family are allowed to join the group, or if one of them has to be a ranker to be selected. It is also not known if people who are not from the Po Bidau family are allowed to join. The only known members of the family are Po Bidau Gustang, the head of the family. Eurasia Ene Jahad, who, even if she keeps the name of Eurasia, is also Gustang's daughter. A member whose name is not known but who looks a lot like Gustang and who speaks on his behalf at the end of the Last Station's arc, so at the end of Season 2. And finally Po Bidau Liborik Khun, who has already been talked about because he is also part of the Khun family. He is a mixed blood in some way. Nothing is known about the two Perie family except that they are the best in combat in the position of light bearer. The only known member being its leader, Tu Perie, which will be talked about in more detail in another video. And finally, the last of the 10 great families, the Yeon family. It is headed by Yeon Hana. According to the non-canon law, the members of her family do not carry her blood directly because they are all born from Ilade, the godmother of the clan. Indeed, Yeon Hana decided not to have children, so Yeon Ilade replaces her in this task. Every 5 years, Ilade chooses a man with whom she shares her bed for one night. It is said that many rankers come from all over the tower hoping to be chosen, but Ilade selects them in a rather cold and pragmatic way. So if you are not a significant ranker, you won't even make it past the administrative registration. The chosen men live for 5 years in the Yeon Palace and only one of them is chosen to spend a night with Ilade. And if he manages to give her a child, he will have the ultimate honor of being accepted into the Yeon family. Like the Ha family, the Yeon family is a deeply matriarchal family. Therefore, men cannot play a central role in the main family or its branches. Because of this, the women of the Yeon family, especially those in the main family, tend to look down on men. The Yeon family is famous for its powerful flame users. Indeed, it is said that the members of this family are the flame itself from the moment of their birth. The Yeon family received 2 types of flame as gifts from the former master of Evankil, a flame that can burn anything and a flame that can heal anything. Some direct descendants of the Yeon family inherit the power of these 2 primordial flames. One of the floors they rule is the 21st floor. Their member carries a branch that contains a rare jewel called the Zygina flower, which grows inside a Zygina. The Yeon family controls their birth in order to preserve the rarity of this gem. The known members are the head of the family Yeon Hana, the member of Wolhaeksong, Yeon Woon, the regular Yeon Ehwa, who is currently being held hostage by the captain, and the non-regular Yeon Ilad, who we just mentioned. Oh, and for the anecdote, Yeon means lotus or sun in Korean. There are also families which are a little bit special that I put in this video, because I don't know where else I could have put them, and that we will call the special families. These are families that probably have some influence in the tower, and are special enough to be given special privileges or contracts. Special families are different from the ordinary residents of the tower, such as the family of Shibisu or Hats for example, because their political influence and privilege set them apart from the others. They are not part of the nobility or ruling class like the Jahad family or the 10 great families, but they are different from the ordinary people in the tower. In addition to the 10 great families, the special families probably function with the knowledge and blessing of the Jahad Empire. This idea is based on the fact that Jahad's empire controls the way contracts are made, and it can be assumed, even if it is not known, that some families serve Jahad's empire in exchange for these privileges or other benefits. Special families may possess special and unique techniques, physical traits, contracts or items. As such, several families have managed to obtain special contracts with administrators, giving them an advantage. For example, you have the Mule family which has the Iron Man contract. This is a contract that constantly regenerates their stamina, preventing them from burning out. The special families that are known are the Blitz family, which is known to be made up of flame users, although the downside is that most of its members are a bit crazy. Their appearance seems to vary, but they all seem to have red hair and eyes. Known members are Quant Blitz, one of the second floor testers who was fired with Liro Ro at the end of Season 1, and is now a member of the Wolhaeksong, and Quaitro Blitz, a regular who is rather close to the main characters and was last seen in the tactical meeting before the Battle of the Nest. There is also the Grand family. This is a family that ended up ruling the 43rd floor after Enryu killed the administrator. They seem extremely dedicated to keeping the floor of death closed in order to prevent any obstacles to the fulfillment of the events prophesied by Enryu. They are very skilled with spells and soul handling. The known members are Grand of Lee, Grand of Ja, and Grand of Sa and his son. There is also the Edrock family. All of them seem to belong to the silver dwarf species, known for its silver hair, small size, and the fact that the members of this species are all guides. Evan Edrock states that the silver dwarves are a species that existed before Jahad arrived in the tower. The only known members are Alumik Edrock, the guide of Repelista Jahad, and Evan Edrock, a ranker in the top 100 and guide of Yuri Jahad. There is also the Mule family, which I mentioned earlier. They are a family of one Sulsa, a special position in combat. They have to pass a special test to officially become one Sulsa, but we'll talk about that in another video. They also have the Iron Man contract, which I explained earlier. The only known member is Love, whose parents were murdered by a member of the FUG. Finally, we also know the Nisam family, which is a family that seems to be quite influential since what seems to be their only son, Kul Nisam K, had planned an arranged marriage with a girl of the Yeon family. Kul Nisam K being the vice commander of the 1st Division of the 4th Corps of the Jihad Army, his role in the story is to show that the Jihad Empire tends to give important positions to people according to their family origin rather than their skills. It's a bit like discrimination in hiring. Kul Nisam K is also accompanied by 2 servants, Jay and Wei, both killed by Ivankul. It is also possible that the Jaina family is a special family because of the status of the Jihad princess Jaina Repalista, but nothing is known about them. Here we are, we've done a tour of the 10 great families. It's true that there is a lot of information to remember, but on the other hand, there was not enough to make a video for each family. There are also things I didn't mention, like the particularities of each head of the 10 great families or the Jihad family, but we will see all that in future videos. In the meantime, I invite you to subscribe, to like all that, and see you next time for the next video, where we will talk about the princesses of Jihad.